Welcome to Wife Cheating Story. I hope you have an enjoyable and relaxing time listening. Let's get started.
The first thing I notice when I wake up is the pain, a dull, throbbing ache radiating from my abdomen where the surgeon sliced me open 12 hours ago. It's not unbearable, just persistent, like a reminder that I'm still here, still breathing despite the odds. The room smells of antiseptic and stale coffee, and the faint beeping of the heart monitor keeps time with my sluggish thoughts. I blink against the harsh fluorescent light, expecting to see Grace's familiar silhouette in the chair beside me, her dark hair pulled back, maybe a book in her lap, that quiet smile she used to give me when she thought I wasn't looking. I'd been dreaming of that smile through the haze of anesthesia, a tether to pull me back to the life we'd built together over 15 years. But the chair is empty. No Grace. No soft reassurances. Just a sterile hospital room and a weight on my chest that has nothing to do with the surgery. I shift slightly, wincing as the stitches pull, and that's when I see it, a manila envelope resting on the bedside table, right next to the plastic water pitcher and a half-empty cup. My name, Thomas Ellis, is scrawled across the front in black ink, the handwriting sharp and unfamiliar. My first thought is that it's some hospital paperwork, maybe discharge instructions or a bill I'll have to fight with insurance over later. But the envelope is too thick, too official. My fingers tremble as I reach for it, the four-line tugging at my wrist, and I tear it open with a clumsy, one-handed grip. The papers slide out, crisp and heavy, and the words at the top hit me like a punch to the gut. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Divorce papers. Grace isn't here because she's already gone, not just from this room, but from me, from us. I stare at the pages, my vision blurring, not from tears, not yet, but from the sheer disbelief that's clawing its way up my throat. My signature is requested on lines marked with little red flags, and there's a typed letter attached, cold and clinical, informing me that Grace intends to end our marriage effective immediately. No explanation. No, I'm sorry, Tom. Nothing to soften the blow. Just legalese and deadlines, as if 15 years, our house, our late-night talks, the way she'd hum off-key in the kitchen, could be reduced to this stack of paper delivered while I'm still hooked to a morphine drip. I try to sit up straighter, but the pain flares, pinning me back against the pillows, and I let out a choked sound that's half groan, half laugh. She didn't even have the guts to tell me herself. She waited until I was cut open, vulnerable, tethered to this damn bed, and then she struck. The room feels smaller now, the walls pressing in as my mind races. Was this planned? Did she sit at our dining table, the one we picked out together at that antique store in Vermont, plotting this while I was prepping for surgery? I think back to the last few weeks. Her distracted glances, the late nights at the office she blamed on a big project, the way she'd pull away when I tried to hold her. I chalked it up to stress, to my own health scare putting distance between us. I'd been so focused on surviving the operation, a tumor they found in my gut, benign but tricky, that I didn't see the real threat coming. Grace. My Grace. The woman I'd vowed to love through sickness and health, abandoning me when I needed her most. I dropped the papers onto my lap, my hand shaking too much to hold them anymore. The heart monitor picks up speed, a frantic beep 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 that draws a nurse through the door. She's young, her ponytail swinging as she checks the machine, then my chart. You okay, Mr. Ellis? Your heart rate's spiking. I want to tell her no, I'm not okay. My wife just gutted me worse than the surgeons did, but the words stick in my throat. Instead, I nod, forcing a tight smile. Just adjusting, I mutter. She adjusts my tells me to rest, and leaves me alone again with the envelope that's rewritten my life. Rest. As if I could. My mind won't stop spinning, replaying every moment with Grace, searching for the crack I missed. But beneath the hurt, something else is stirring anger. Yes, but also a strange clarity. I'm not going to let this be the end of me. She thinks I'm weak, that I'll just sign and fade away. She's wrong. I reach for my phone on the table, ignoring the twinge in my side, and scroll through my contacts until I find the name I need. Julian Blackwell. My old college roommate, the guy who'd talk circles around anyone in a debate, now one of the sharpest attorneys in the state. Grace doesn't know about him. She never cared much for my boring past, my quiet stories of friendship and loyalty. She'll care now. I hit call, and Julian picks up on the second ring, his voice steady and familiar. Tom? You out of surgery? How are you holding up? I take a breath, the words spilling out before I can overthink them. I'm alive, but Grace just served me divorce papers. Right here in the hospital. I need you, man. I need the best. There's a pause, then a low chuckle not mocking. but dangerous, like a predator sizing up prey. She picked the wrong guy to mess with, he says. Give me everything you've got, and I'll handle it. Rest up, Tom. We've got work to do. I hang up, the phone slipping from my grip as I lean back, staring at the ceiling. Grace wanted a war. She's about to get one, and she has no idea who's coming for her. The hospital room feels less like a prison now that Julian's on board, though the pain in my gut hasn't let up. It's been 2 days since I called him, and he's already moving quietly, efficiently, like he always did back in college when we'd strategize over late-night poker games. I'd forgotten how good it felt to have him in my corner, that unshakable confidence he carries like a second skin. Grace never met him, not really yet. Just a passing mention at a dinner party years ago, when she'd rolled her eyes and said, "Another one of your dull friends, Tom?" She didn't know then that Julian had climbed from our dorm room debates to a corner office in a firm that makes CEOs sweat. She's about to find out. I'm propped up in bed, the divorce papers spread across the blanket like a map of enemy territory, when Julian walks in. He's all sharp edges, tailored suit, silver cufflinks, a briefcase that probably cost more than my car. But his grin is the same one he wore when we'd outsmart a professor or split a pizza at 3 a.m. "You look like hell," he says, dropping into the chair Grace never bothered to occupy. "Thanks," I shoot back, managing a weak smirk. "Surgery and betrayal will do that." He nods, pulling out a legal pad and a pen that looks too expensive to be practical. "Tell me everything," he says, and I do, starting with the envelope, the shock, the way Grace timed it like a sniper. He listens, scribbling notes, his expression hardening with every word. When I finish, he leans back, tapping the pen against his chin. "She's betting on you being too broken to fight," he says. "Thinks you'll roll over, sign, and let her walk away clean. Classic move, hit when the target's down. But she didn't count on me. I feel a flicker of something like hope, fragile but real. What's our play?" I ask. He grins again, colder this time. "First, we don't react. Let her stew. She'll hear I'm on this soon enough. Word travels fast in legal circles. When she does, she'll panic. People like her always do when they realize they're outmatched." I nod, trusting him implicitly. Julian doesn't bluff. He wins. Sure enough, it takes less than 24 hours for the cracks to show. I'm dozing, the pain meds pulling me under, when my phone buzzes. It's a text from Grace, not the lawyer, not some intermediary, but her. "Tom, who's Julian Blackwell? Why is he calling my attorney?" I stare at the screen, my pulse quickening. She's rattled. I can hear it in the words, the lack of her usual polish. I don't reply, not yet. Julian told me silence is a weapon, and I'm learning to wield it. Another message comes an hour later. "We need to talk about this. I didn't mean for it to go this way." Bullshit. She meant every second of it. She just didn't expect resistance. I call Julian instead, reading him the texts. He laughs, a sharp, satisfied sound. She's already backpedaling. Good. Let her squirm a little longer. I've got my team pulling records, finances, communications, anything she's hiding. We'll know more by tomorrow. I lean back, the pillow cool against my neck, and let that sink in. Grace always saw me as the soft one, the predictable husband who'd take her moods and her distance without pushing back. She'd tease me about it sometimes. "You're too nice, Tom. Too easy." Maybe I was. But not anymore. The surgery might have left me weak in body, but it's waking something else, something Grace never bothered to notice. By the next morning, Julian's back with a folder and a coffee for me, black, no sugar, just how I like it. "First taste of her panic," he says, sliding the folder over. Inside are call logs, Grace's attorney, Carter Briggs, reaching out to mutual contacts, asking about Julian. There's a voicemail transcript too, Carter's voice clipped and nervous. "Blackwell's a shark. What's his angle? Call me." I look up, meeting Julian's eyes. "She's scared," I say, and it's not a question. "Terrified," he corrects. "If she wants war, let's make sure she regrets picking the battlefield. You rest, Tom. I'll handle the opening salvo." I sip the coffee, the bitterness grounding me as I watch him leave. Grace thought she could bury me in that envelope, that I'd crumble under the weight of her betrayal. But she didn't see Julian coming. She didn't see me coming. For the first time since I woke up, the pain feels secondary. I'm not just surviving this, I'm fighting. And I'm not alone. The hospital room has become my war room, a strange battlefield of starched sheets and 4 drips where I'm plotting my counterattack against Grace. It's been 4 days since the divorce papers landed in my lap. And though my body's still weak, stitches pulling every time I shift, my mind's sharper than it's been in years. Julian's visits are the highlight of my days, each one bringing new pieces to the puzzle Grace thought she'd locked away. Today, he walks in with a thicker folder than yesterday, his expression a mix of satisfaction and something darker, like a hunter closing in on a trail. I sit up as best I can, ignoring the ache, eager for whatever he's uncovered. "What VE you got?" I ask, my voice steadier than I feel. He sets the folder on the rolling table, flipping it open with a flick of his wrist. "Your wife's been busy," he says, "and not just with filing papers." The first page is a bank statement, not ours, not the joint account I've poured my salary into for years, but one in Grace's name alone. I stare at the numbers, my gut twisting as I see deposits and withdrawals I never knew about. "Where'd this come from?" I ask, my fingers brushing the paper like it might burn me. Julian leans back in the chair, crossing one leg over the other. "My team's good at finding what people don't want found. This account's been active for 2 years, small transfers at first, then bigger ones. Looks like she's been siphoning money, Tom. Hiding it." I swallow hard, the betrayal sinking deeper. 2 years. That's when she started pushing for separate vacations, claiming she needed space to breathe. I trusted her, thought it was just a phase. Now I see it was a plan. I flip to the next page, emails, printed out and highlighted. They're between Grace and some guy named Daniel, a colleague from her firm. The tone's casual at first, work stuff about meetings and deadlines, but then it shifts. "Dinner tonight? Just us. Missed you at the conference, room's too quiet without you." My chest tightens, not from the surgery, but from the realization creeping in. "An affair," I say, looking up at Julian. He shrugs, but his eyes are sharp. "Maybe. Probably. We're still digging. Phone records, travel receipts. If it's there, we'll prove it. Point is, she's not as clean as she wants the court to think." I nod, letting that settle. Grace always had a way of making me feel small, like I was lucky she stuck around. Turns out she was the one playing games. The folder's not done with me yet. There's a list of assets Grace filed in the divorce. Our house, the car, my business, and it's shorter than it should be. She didn't mention the cabin, I say, pointing to the glaring omission. The little place upstate we bought 5 years ago, a fixer-upper we'd laughed about turning into our retirement dream. Julian's already circling it in red pen. Exactly. She's lowballing what's hers to split, probably hoping you wouldn't notice. Or that you'd be too doped up to fight. He's right. I almost didn't notice, not with the meds fogging my head those first few days. But now I'm awake. I lean back against the pillows, the folder heavy in my lap. How'd I miss this, Julian? All of it. Money, lies, maybe this Daniel guy. Was I that blind? He doesn't sugarcoat it, which I appreciate. You trusted her, Tom. That's not a crime. She's the one who took advantage. But here's the good news. We've got her on the ropes. She doesn't know we're this deep yet. I think about her text from yesterday, the nervous edge in "Who's Julian Blackwell?" She's starting to feel the pressure, and we're just getting started. It's a strange comfort, knowing she's not as untouchable as she thinks. Julian pulls out his phone, scrolling through something before sliding it over. It's a photo, a grainy shot from a security camera, Grace and a tall guy with dark hair walking into a hotel lobby. Timestamps from 3 months ago, when she told me she was at a work retreat. "Daniel?" I ask. "Likely," Julian says. "We're running facial recognition, cross-checking with her firm's staff. If it's him, we'll tie it to the emails." I stare at the image, her arm brushing his, her head tilted like she's laughing. It's not proof, not yet, but it's a knife in my ribs all the same. I hand the phone back, my jaw tight. "What's next?" I ask. He tucks the phone away, leaning forward now, elbows on his knees. We keep digging. Finances, affair, anything else she's buried. My team's pulling credit card statements, her firm's expense reports. Meanwhile, you stay quiet. She's calling you, right? Begging to talk. I nod. 3 more messages came in last night. Each one shorter, more desperate. "Tom, please. Let's settle this." Julian smirks. "Good. Let her sweat. Every call she makes is leverage. By the time we hit court, she'll be scrambling to explain half-truths we've already unraveled. I can see it now, the strategy taking shape. Slow, deliberate, like setting a trap she won't see until it snaps shut. I glance at the folder again, the evidence piling up like bricks in a wall between me and the life I thought I had. It's not just about the money or the cabin or even Daniel. It's about how Grace saw me as a mark, not a husband. I used to feel guilty for not being enough for her, for not pushing back when she'd snap or shut me out. Now I see I wasn't naive. I was just too damn patient. I want her to feel this. I say, the words slipping out before I can stop them. Julian doesn't flinch. She will, he promises. We're not just winning, Tom. We're rewriting the story she thought she controlled. The nurse comes in then, checking my vitals, adjusting the drip. She glances at the papers scattered across my bed, but doesn't ask. When she's gone, Julian stands, gathering his things. Rest up, he says. You're healing, body and all. I'll be back tomorrow with more. He leaves, and I'm alone again, but it's different now. The room's still cold, the pain's still there, but I'm not the broken man Grace expected. I close my eyes, picturing her face when she realizes what's coming. Julian's precision, my resolve, the secrets she thought she'd buried. For the first time since that envelope hit my table, I feel the power shifting. And it's shifting to me. The hospital discharged me this morning, and now I'm back in the house. Our house, though it doesn't feel like ours anymore. The air smells faintly of Grace's lavender candles, but the silence is mine alone. Tomorrow's the first court hearing, and I'm standing in our bedroom, staring at the navy suit laid out on the bed. It's the one I wore to her firm's gala 2 years ago, when she'd smiled at me across the room like I was still someone she wanted to show off. I run my fingers over the fabric, smooth and cool, and wonder if she'll recognize it tomorrow. Part of me hopes she does. Part of me wants her to see me walk in wearing it, upright and unbroken, and feel the ground shift beneath her. The pain from the surgery's still there, a dull ache I've learned to push through, but it's nothing compared to the clarity I've found these past weeks. Grace tried to bury me in that hospital bed. Instead, she woke me up. I sit on the edge of the bed, careful not to crease the suit, and pull the divorce filings from my briefcase. Julian's team has marked them up, red ink circling her asset claims, yellow highlights on the inconsistencies we'll hit her with tomorrow. I've read these pages so many times they're starting to feel like a script, one where I finally get to speak my lines. For weeks, I've been reacting, reeling from the papers, scrambling to catch up to her moves. Tomorrow's different. Tomorrow, I'm the one forcing her hand. It's not about revenge, though I'd be lying if I said that didn't cross my mind. It's about truth, about peeling back the layers of her lies until there's nothing left to hide behind. I set the papers down and lean back, letting the quiet settle over me. The house feels like a stranger's, but I'm starting to reclaim it, one steady breath at a time. My phone buzzes on the nightstand, another message from Grace. Tom, can we just talk before tomorrow? I don't want it to get ugly. I stare at the screen, my thumb hovering over the reply button. She's been at this for days now, her tone shifting from panic to pleading. I haven't answered once, not since Julian told me to let her stew. Silence is power, he said, and he's right, she's unraveling without a word from me. I picture her typing this, maybe sitting at her sleek office desk or pacing her apartment downtown, where she's been staying since I got the papers. Is she alone? Is Daniel with her, whispering advice that's too late to matter? I don't know, and for once, I don't care. I dropped the phone back on the table, unanswered. She made this ugly when she slid those papers under my hospital door. Now she gets to live with it. I stand and walk to the mirror, adjusting my posture despite the twinge in my side. The man looking back isn't the one Grace left behind, pale, doped up, clinging to a marriage that was already dead. My jaw's set now, my eyes clearer. I've lost weight from the surgery, but it sharpened me, stripped away the softness Grace used to poke at. You're too easy, Tom, she'd say, half teasing, half accusing. Maybe I was. I let her lead, let her moods dictate our days, because I loved her and thought that's what love meant. But love shouldn't feel like a trap, and I'm done pretending it does. Tomorrow, she'll see that. The judge will see it. Hell, I'm starting to see it myself. I head downstairs, moving slow but steady, and pour myself a glass of water in the kitchen. The counters are bare, no more of her coffee mugs or the little notes she'd leave when she felt like playing wife. I don't miss them as much as I thought I would. Julian called earlier, running through the plan one last time. We've got her on the hidden account and the cabin omission, he said, his voice calm but edged with anticipation. She'll try to spin it, say it was an oversight, that she's been stressed. Carter Briggs will back her up, all bluss. We don't budge. The judge will smell the bullshit a mile away. I trust him. Julian's never been one for empty promises, and the stack of evidence he's built is a fortress I didn't know I needed until now. I take the water back upstairs and sit by the window, watching the streetlights flicker on outside. The neighborhood's quiet tonight, just the hum of a car passing every now and then. It's strange, being here without her, but it's not lonely, not yet. I think about tomorrow, picturing the courtroom, the polished wood, the stiff chairs, Grace sitting across from me with that practiced poise she wears like armor. She'll expect me to falter, to let the pain or the past trip me up. She doesn't know I've been preparing for this, not just with Julian's files, but in my head, replaying every moment she underestimated me. I'm not the man she married anymore, and I'm damn sure not the one she tried to break. The clock ticks past 10, and I decide it's time to rest. I've got to be sharp tomorrow, no room for exhaustion or doubt. I fold the suit jacket over the chair, set my shoes by the door, and climb into bed, the left side, where I always slept, even when she'd sprawl across the middle. The sheets are cold, but they're mine now. I close my eyes, letting my mind settle on the hearing. Julian will lead, laying out the discrepancies, her secret account, the cabin she forgot, the emails that hint at more than she'll admit. I'll sit there, steady and silent, letting her see what she's lost. Not just a husband, but the control she thought she had. Sleep comes easier than I expect, a deep, dreamless pull that carries me through the night. When I wake, the sky's still dark, but I'm ready. I shower, shave, dress in that navy suit like it's a uniform for battle. The stitches ache as I button the shirt, but I push through, pain's just a reminder I'm still here, still fighting. I grab the briefcase, check the filings one last time, and head out the door. The air's crisp, the street empty, and as I climb into the car, I feel it, a calm I haven't known in weeks. Grace thought I'd crumble when she struck. She was wrong. Today's not her victory lap, it's mine. And I'm walking into that courtroom with my head high, ready to take back what's mine. The courtroom smells like old wood and tension as I step inside, my navy suit crisp against my skin despite the ache in my gut from the stitches. It's a small space, smaller than I'd imagined, rows of benches, a high desk for the judge, and two tables facing each other like battle lines. I take my seat next to Julian, who's already unpacking his briefcase with the precision of a surgeon. He's calm, his movement steady, but there's a glint in his eye that tells me he's ready to draw blood. I adjust my tie, feeling the weight of the moment settle over me. This isn't just a hearing, it's the day Grace learned she misjudged me. The air hums with anticipation, and I keep my gaze forward, waiting for her to walk in. She does, right on cue, her heels clicking against the floor like she's still in control. Grace looks polished, black blazer, hair pulled back tight, a necklace I gave her years ago glinting at her throat. She doesn't look at me, not yet, just slides into her seat beside Carter Briggs, her attorney. He's a stocky guy with a loud tie and a louder voice, already shuffling papers and muttering to her. She nods, her face a mask of composure, but I catch the way her fingers tighten around her pen when Julian stands to greet the clerk. She knows who he is now, and that grip tells me she's not as steady as she wants to seem. Good. I lean back slightly, letting the silence do its work, just like Julian taught me. The judge enters, a woman, mid-50s, with sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. She calls the case, Ellis versus Ellis, and my stomach twists at how final it sounds. Julian's up first, his voice smooth and commanding as he lays out our position. Your Honor, we're here to address a petition for divorce that's riddled with inconsistencies, he starts, sliding a stack of documents across the table. Mrs. Ellis has submitted asset declarations that fail to account for significant marital property, including a cabin in upstate New York, and we've uncovered evidence of a hidden bank account she's maintained for over 2 years. He pauses, letting that sink in, then drops the next bomb. We also have financial records showing discrepancies between what she's claimed in this filing and what she's reported to third parties, business partners, specifically. I watch Grace as Julian speaks, and it's like seeing her in slow motion. Her mask slips, just for a second, her lips parting before she clamps them shut. Carter jumps in, his voice booming over Julian's. Objection, Your Honor. This is speculative, no foundation. The judge cuts him off with a raised hand. Overruled. I'll hear the evidence, Mr. Briggs. Sit down. Carter flops back into his chair, red-faced, and Grace shoots him a look that could melt steel. She's not used to losing the upper hand, not like this. I keep my face still, but inside, I'm buzzing. This is the shift Julian promised, and it's happening right in front of me. Julian hands over the bank statements, the ones from Grace's secret account, and walks the judge through them line by line. Deposits that don't match her salary, withdrawals timed with trips she took alone. This isn't an oversight, he says. This is deliberate concealment of marital assets, Your Honor. And it's just the beginning. He doesn't mention Daniel or the affair, not yet. We're holding that card close, waiting for the right moment. The judge flips through the pages, her expression unreadable, then looks at Grace. Mrs. Ellis, care to explain? Her voice is dry, no nonsense, and I feel a flicker of satisfaction as Grace straightens in her seat. Carter takes the lead, standing again with a forced smile. Your Honor, my client's been under immense stress, Mr. Ellis's health issues, her workload. The cabin was a simple mistake, an old asset she forgot to list. As for the account, it's personal savings, not hidden, just separate. We can amend the filing today. It's a weak story, and the judge's frown says she's not buying it. Grace leans forward, adding her own polish. Tom knew about the cabin, she says, her voice soft but firm. We barely used it. In the account, it's just for emergencies. I never meant to hide anything. She glances at me then, her eyes meeting mine for the first time, and I see it. A plea, maybe regret, but no real apology. She's still playing the game. I don't flinch, just hold her gaze until she looks away. Julian steps in, his tone cutting through her excuse like a blade. Your Honor, Mrs. Ellis's emergencies include regular transfers to accounts linked to her firm, accounts she hasn't disclosed. And the cabin? We have tax records showing she paid for renovations last year, unlisted in her filing. This isn't forgetfulness. It's fraud. He slides more papers forward, and the judge takes them, her brow furrowing deeper. Carter sputters, but Grace goes still, her pen frozen in her hand. She didn't expect us to dig this deep, didn't think I'd fight back with this kind of precision. The judge sets the documents down, her voice sharp now. I'm freezing all marital assets pending a full investigation. Mrs. Ellis, if there's more you're not telling me, I suggest you come clean before I order an audit. Fraud's a serious allegation. Don't test me on it. Grace's face pales, and Carter's muttering something to her, but she doesn't respond. The hearing wraps fast after that. Julian's done enough for today, planted the seeds we'll harvest later. The judge adjourns, and I stand, slower than I'd like, the stitches pulling as I button my jacket. Grace stays seated, staring at the table, and I feel her eyes on me as I walk out with Julian. In the hallway, he claps me on the shoulder, careful of my side. That went better than planned, he says, grinning. She's rattled, Tom. We've got her on defense now. I nod, the adrenaline still pumping through me. She lied up there, I say. Looked me in the eye and lied. Julian's grin fades, replaced by that hunter's focus. She did, and we'll make her pay for it. This is just round one. I take a deep breath, the courthouse air cool against my skin. Grace thought she'd cornered me, thought I'd fold under her betrayal. But today, I stood my ground, and she's the one shaking. The reckoning's here, and it's mine to claim. The sun's barely set when I get home from the courthouse, the weight of the day still clinging to me like damp clothes. I drop my keys on the kitchen counter, the clatter echoing in the empty house, and sink into a chair, my side aching from sitting upright too long. The hearing's over, but it's not done with me. My mind keeps replaying Grace's face when the judge froze our assets, the way her pen froze midair, her control slipping through her fingers. I won today, not just because Julian shredded her story, but because I saw her flinch. For once, she's not the one calling the shots. I pour myself a glass of water, no whiskey, not with the meds, and settle in, expecting a quiet night. Then my phone buzzes, and everything changes. It's Carter Briggs first, his name flashing on the screen like a warning. I let it ring, watching the seconds tick by until it goes to voicemail. A minute later, the message pings through, and I play it on speaker, his voice filling the room. Tom, it's Carter. Look, today got heated, but we don't need to drag this out. Grace is willing to talk. Let's find a number that works for both of you. Call me back. He sounds smooth, practiced, but there's an edge there, a crack in his usual bluster. I don't call back. Julian's voice echoes in my head. Let the silence work, and I'm starting to see how it does. They're scrambling, and I'm the one holding still. 10 minutes later, the phone buzzes again. This time it's Grace. Not a call, a text. Tom, can we talk? Just us. I don't want this to keep going like it did today. I stare at the words, my thumb brushing the screen. It's not the Grace I know, the one who'd command a room with a single look. This is softer, almost hesitant, and it sets my nerves on edge. I don't reply, just set the phone down and take a sip of water, letting the coolness steady me. She's reaching out because she's scared Julian's evidence, the judge's warning, the threat of an audit. She didn't expect me to push back this hard, and now she's grasping for a lifeline. I'm not throwing her one. Not yet. The messages keep coming as the night deepens. Another from Carter. Grace will give you the house, Tom. Full ownership. Let's sit down and hash this out. Then Grace again. I'll be civil if you will. Please, just call me. I lean back, the chair creaking under me, and feel a strange mix of satisfaction and exhaustion. The house, our house, the one she decorated with cold marble and sharp edges she loved, was her pride. She's offering it up now, a peace offering or a bribe, and it's tempting. But I don't bite. Julian warned me they'd try this, dangling carrots to pull me off course. Wait, he'd said this afternoon, his voice low as we left the courthouse. Let them sweat it out. They'll come back with more. So I wait. By midnight, the offers escalate. Carter leaves another voicemail, his tone tighter. Tom, we're talking the house, plus a cash settlement, 50 grand. Grace wants this done quietly. Call me tonight if you can. 50 grand. I almost laugh, the sound catching in my throat. She's throwing money at me now, money she hid in that secret account, thinking it'll buy her way out of the mess she made. Then Grace texts again, and this one's longer. Tom, I'm serious. The house, the money, whatever you want. Just don't push the financial investigation. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. Let's stop before it's too far. I read it twice, my pulse picking up. She's not just scared, she's desperate. The investigation's the real threat, the one that could unravel more than a divorce, maybe even her career. I call Julian, needing his take before I let this spiral in my head. He picks up fast, his voice gravelly like I woke him. What's up, Tom? I read him the messages, one by one, and he listens, silent until I'm done. Then he chuckles, low and sharp. She's folding faster than I thought. That investigation threat hit her hard. Means there's more she's hiding, stuff we haven't even found yet. 50 grand and the house. That's her opening bid. Give it 72 hours, she'll triple it. I lean forward, gripping the phone. You think she'll go higher? He doesn't hesitate. I know she will. She's not texting you at midnight because she's calm. She's panicking. Don't say a word, let it build. I hang up, the kitchen dark except for the glow of my phone. Grace's words stare back at me. Don't push the investigation. What's she so afraid of? The affair with Daniel, sure, but this feels bigger, like there's a thread we've tugged that could unravel her whole life. I think about the emails Julian showed me, the hotel photo, the money trails we're still tracing. She's not just fighting for a divorce now. She's fighting to keep her secrets buried. And I'm the one with the shovel. It's a heady feeling, this shift, knowing I'm not the weak link she counted on. The next day, the offers keep rolling in. Carter emails, a formal proposal this time. The house, 75 grand, and no contest on my business. Grace calls twice, leaves a voicemail I don't play. By evening, she texts again, Tom, please. Let's meet. I'll give you everything. Just call off Julian. Call off Julian. Like he's a dog I can leash. She doesn't get it. He's not the threat. I am. I've been quiet too long, letting her think she's safe, but today's hearing changed that. She saw me in that courtroom, saw the evidence, saw the judge's face. She knows I'm not backing down. I sit there, the phone in my hand, the house silent around me. 75 grand's a lot, enough to start over, to walk away clean. But it's not enough to erase what she did, serving me papers while I was cut open, thinking I'd just take it. I set the phone down, no reply, and head upstairs. Julian's right, 72 hours, and she'll crack wider. I'm not settling for her scraps. I'm taking what's mine, and maybe more, because she picked this fight. As I lie in bed, the ache in my side fading to a dull hum, I feel it. The calm of a man who's winning, not just surviving. Grace is panicking, and I'm holding the line. The air in Julian's conference room feels thick with tension as I sit across from Grace, the polished oak table stretching between us like a no-man's land. It's been 2 days since her last frantic text, and now here we are, face to face for the first time since the hearing. She looks worn, dark circles under her eyes, her usual sleek ponytail fraying at the edges. She's still trying to hold that poised mask, but it's cracking, and I can see it in the way her hands fidget with the pin she's brought, clicking it once, twice, then setting it down. Carter's next to her, his tie a little looser than in court, his bluster dialed back to something more cautious. Julian's on my right, his presence steady as ever, a legal pad in front of him with notes I know he's memorized. This isn't the courtroom, but it's still a battlefield, and I'm here to claim ground. Julian starts, his voice even but firm. We're here to discuss a settlement based on the offers Mrs. Ellis and her counsel have put forward over the past 72 hours. Offers that, frankly, keep changing. He slides a printed email across the table, the one from Carter with the latest proposal, the house, 75 grand, and no claim on my business. This is where you left off, he says, tapping the page. But let's be clear, after the hearing, after the judge's ruling on the asset freeze and the fraud warning, we're not here to haggle over scraps. We've got terms of our own. Grace's eyes flick to the paper, then to me, and I meet her gaze, unflinching. She's not used to this version of me, the one who doesn't bend. Carter clears his throat, leaning forward. Look, Tom, Grace is being generous here. Full ownership of the house, that's a big asset. The cash is fair, and she's stepping back from your company entirely. We're trying to keep this civil. His tone's softer than in court, but it's still a salesman's pitch, and I'm not buying. Julian doesn't even glance at him, just flips to a new page in his pad. Civil went out the window when your client served divorce papers to a man recovering from surgery, he says, his words cutting sharp. Here's our counter. The house, yes, but we want a full accounting of that hidden account, every dollar in and out for the last 2 years. $150,000 in cash settlement. And a non-disparagement clause, binding both parties. No mudslinging, no stories to her firm or the press. Grace's pin clatters to the table, her breath catching audibly. 150, she says, her voice rising before she catches herself. That's ridiculous, Tom. I don't have that kind of money lying around. I tilt my head, keeping my tone steady. You've got it somewhere, Grace. That account you didn't tell me about. It's been growing for years. Don't pretend you're strapped. Her eyes narrow, but there's a flicker of something fear, maybe, behind the defiance. Carter jumps in, his hands up like he's calming a storm. Let's not get heated. We can work with the house, maybe bump the cash to 90. But the account details, that's invasive, Tom. It's personal savings, not some secret slush fund. Julian smirks, pulling out the bank statements we've already shown the judge. Personal savings that funded trips and renovations she didn't disclose? That's marital property, Carter, and the court's already leaning toward an audit. You want to risk that, or you want to settle this now? He slides the statements over, and Grace's hand twitches like she wants to grab them, but she doesn't. She's cornered, and she knows it. I watch her, the woman I used to wake up next to, and feel a strange detachment. She's not my wife anymore. She's a stranger who thought she could outsmart me. The room goes quiet, the clock on the wall ticking louder than it should. Grace looks at Carter, then back at me, her voice dropping low. Tom, why are you doing this? I'm giving you the house, everything you wanted. Why push so hard? It's the closest she's come to sounding human since this started, but I don't soften. You pushed first, I say. My words simple but heavy. You served me papers when I was flat on my back, Grace. You hid money, lied about assets. This isn't about punishing you, it's about what's fair. She flinches, just slightly, and I see it. The realization that I'm not bluffing, that I'm not the pushover she counted on. Carter scribbles something, whispering to Grace, and she nods, her jaw tight. Fine, she says finally, her voice clipped. The house, $120,000, and the non-disparagement clause. But the account stays private, no full disclosure. Julian glances at me, his eyebrow raised, waiting for my call. I think it over. The house is mine outright. The cash is more than she wanted to give, and the clause keeps her from spinning lies later. It's not everything, not the full truth about that account, but it's enough for now. The audit threat's still looming, and she knows it. Deal, I say, my voice firm. But it's in writing, signed today, or we walk. Grace stares at me, her eyes searching mine like she's trying to find the man she married, the quiet, agreeable Tom who'd let her lead. He's gone. She nods, slow and reluctant, and Carter starts drafting the terms with Julian. The room hums with the scratch of pens and muted voices, but I feel still, grounded. This isn't the end, not with the investigation threat still hanging over her, but it's a win. The house is mine, the money's mine, and she's the one backing down. As they finalize the papers, Grace leans forward, her voice barely above a whisper. You've changed, Tom. I don't blink. You changed me, I say, and sign my name on the line. The meeting ends with handshakes, stiff, perfunctory, and I walk out with Julian, the settlement heavy in my briefcase. In the parking lot, he grins, clapping me on the shoulder. You held your ground in there. She didn't see that coming. I nod, the ache in my side duller now, overshadowed by something stronger. She thought I'd fold. I say. Not this time. He laughs, unlocking his car. Not ever again. Get some rest, Tom, you earned it. I drive home, the road blurring past, and feel the shift settle in. Grace isn't the one rewriting my story anymore. I am. The settlement's signed, and the house is officially mine, but I'm still restless as I sit in the living room, the late afternoon sun slanting through the blinds. It's been a week since the conference room showdown, and the silence from Grace has felt like a victory until today. My phone buzzes on the coffee table, her name lighting up the screen, and I hesitate before picking it up. It's a voicemail, not a text this time, and I press play, her voice filling the room I've started to reclaim. Tom, it's me. I know things are finalized, but I need to talk to you. Just you, no lawyers. Can we meet? Please. There's a pause, a shaky breath, then, I owe you that much. I set the phone down, staring at it like it might explain itself. She owes me. After everything, she's reaching out now, and I'm not sure what to feel: anger, curiosity, or just exhaustion. I call Julian first, needing his take before I step into whatever this is. He picks up on the third ring, his voice casual but alert. What's she up to now? I play him the message, and he's quiet for a moment, then sighs. She's fishing, Tom. Wants to smooth things over, maybe save face. You don't have to meet her, settlement's done. You've got no legal obligation. But if you do, keep it short. Don't give her anything she can twist later. I nod, even though he can't see me. Think it's a trap? I ask. He chuckles, dry and knowing. Not a trap, just desperation. She's lost control of the narrative. Go if you want, but you're the one holding the cards now. I hang up, weighing it. Part of me wants to ignore her, let her stew in the mess she made. But another part, the part that still remembers her laugh, her warmth before it all went cold, wants to hear what she has to say. I text her back, keeping it simple. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., coffee shop on Elm. 20 minutes. She replies fast, thank you, Tom. See you then. And I toss the phone aside, running a hand through my hair. The house feels too big tonight, too quiet, so I busy myself with small things, washing dishes, sorting mail until the unease settles. Sleep comes slow, the stitches in my side a faint reminder of where this all started. When I wake, the day drags, every hour ticking toward that meeting. I dress plain, jeans, a gray sweater. Not the suit, not the armor. This isn't a fight. It's a reckoning, and I'm walking in as me, not her version of me. The coffee shop's busy when I arrive, the hum of voices and clinking cups wrapping around me as I take a corner table. Grace walks in 5 minutes late, her coat slung over her arm, her eyes scanning until they land on me. She looks smaller somehow, less like the woman who'd command a room and more like someone carrying a weight she can't shake. She sits, setting her purse down, and offers a tight smile. Thanks for coming, Tom, she says, her voice softer than I expect. I nod, sipping my coffee, waiting. She fidgets with her hands, then leans forward. I shouldn't have done it that way. The papers, the hospital. It was cruel. You didn't deserve that. I set my cup down, the words hanging between us. It's the closest she's come to an apology, but it feels hollow, like she's saying it because she has to, not because she means it. Why'd you do it then? I ask, keeping my tone even. She looks away, out the window at the street, her fingers twisting a napkin. I panicked, she says. Things were falling apart. Us, work, everything. I thought if I moved fast, it'd be cleaner. I was wrong. I watch her, searching for the truth in her face, but it's buried under layers of polish she's still trying to wear. Cleaner for you, I say. Not for me. I was cut open, Grace, and you couldn't even face me. Her eyes snap back to mine, glistening but not spilling over. I know, she whispers. I hated myself for it after. But by then, it was too late. You had Julian, and it all spiraled. There's a hint of blame there, like I'm the one who escalated things, and it stings. You spiraled it, I say, sharper than I mean to. The hidden account, the cabin, Daniel, don't put this on me. Her mouth opens, then closes, and she nods, slow and reluctant. You're right, she says. I messed up. I want us to be okay, Tom. Not together, but not like this. I lean back, studying her. She's not here to fix us. She's here to fix herself, to soften the edges of a story she can't control anymore. You want me to say it's fine? I say, so you can sleep better. But it's not fine. You betrayed me, Grace, when I was at my lowest. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done. Her face crumples slightly, and she reaches for my hand across the table. I pull back, not harsh, just firm, and she freezes. I'm sorry, she says, the words breaking a little. I mean it, Tom. I never wanted to hurt you this much. I believe she's sorry, not for me, but for where it's left her. The investigation's still looming, her firm's whispering, and she's losing more than she planned. You did, though, I say, standing, my coffee half finished. That's on you, not me. She looks up, her eyes wide, like she didn't expect me to walk away so soon. Tom, wait, she starts, but I shake my head. 20 minutes is up. Take care, Grace. I leave, the bell above the door jingling as I step into the cool air, my breath steady despite the ache in my chest. Driving home, I feel lighter, not healed, but unburdened. Her apology wasn't for me, it was damage control, a last grab at peace she doesn't deserve. I don't need it anyway. The house waits, quiet and mine, and as I pull into the driveway, I realize something. I'm not the one who needs to be okay. She does. And that's her problem now. I unlock the door, step inside, and let the silence wrap around me like a shield. This chapter's closed, not with her words, but with mine. The morning light spills through the kitchen window, catching on the new wooden table I hauled in yesterday, a warm oak slab that replaced Grace's cold glass one. I'm standing here with a cup of coffee, the steam curling up as I take in the space, and it's starting to feel like mine. Not ours, not hers, just mine. The settlement's done, the paper's signed, and the house is legally in my name. But it's more than that. It's the way I've been tearing out her sterile decor, piece by piece, and building something real in its place. The surgery scar on my side still tugs when I move too fast, but it's fading, just like her shadow over this place. I set the mug down and grab a screwdriver from the counter. Today's about the living room, another step in reclaiming what I almost lost. I start with the curtains, those heavy, gray things she loved because they matched the aesthetic. They blocked out the sun, made the room feel like a cave, and I hated them from the day she hung them. I climb the stepladder, careful of my stitches, and unscrew the brackets, letting the fabric pool on the floor. Sunlight floods in, warm and bright, and I can't help but smile. It's small, this change, but it's mine, a choice she didn't get to veto. I toss the curtains into a pile by the door, already picturing the lighter ones I picked out online, cream, simple, letting the outside in. This house used to be her monument, all sharp lines and polished surfaces. Now it's becoming my refuge. Next, I tackle the walls. She'd painted them a stark white, said it was modern, but it always felt like a hospital to me. Ironic, given where this all started. I've got cans of paint stacked in the corner, a soft blue I chose because it reminds me of the lake we used to visit early in our marriage, back when things were good. I pry one open, the smell sharp and clean, and dip the roller in, starting on the longest wall. The first stroke's messy, blue streaking over white, but it's satisfying, covering her mark with mine. My side aches as I stretch, but I push through, the rhythm of the work settling my mind. I think about the hospital bed, the divorce papers, the way she thought I'd just fade away. This paint, this room, it's proof I didn't. Halfway through, my phone buzzes. Julian, checking in. I wipe my hands on a rag and answer, leaning against the unpainted wall. How's the warrior doing? He asks, his voice light but warm. Turning the place into a fortress, I say, glancing at the half-blue room. Painting today. Feels good. He laughs, a sound that's become familiar these past weeks. Good for you, Tom. Making it yours. That's the key. She doesn't get to define you anymore. I nod, even though he can't see me. Thanks, man. For everything. He brushes it off, like always. Just keep moving forward. Call if you need me. We hang up, and I get back to the roller, the blue spreading steady and sure. By afternoon, the living room's transformed, blue walls, bare windows letting in light, and the old furniture rearranged into something less rigid. I drag the couch to face the fireplace instead of the TV, a spot Grace never used because she hated the mess of a fire. I've got logs stacked already, planning a blaze tonight just because I can. The coffee table's next. It's one she picked, all metal and glass, and it's got to go. I haul it to the garage, my side protesting but not stopping me, and bring in a wooden one I found at a thrift store last week. It's scratched, worn, but it's got character, something she'd have sneered at. I set my coffee mug on it, a small rebellion, and step back to take it in. This isn't her space anymore. It's mine. I keep going, losing track of time as I rip out more of her touches, the abstract art prints she loved, the sleek lamps that gave off cold light. I replaced them with stuff I've been collecting, photos from trips I took alone, a warm-toned floor lamp I found on sale. The house starts to breathe, to feel like a home instead of a showroom. I think about what she said at the coffee shop. "You've changed, Tom," and she was right, but not how she meant it. I'm not the man who let her dictate our life, who stayed quiet to keep the peace. This house is proof of that. Every nail and paint stroke a step away from who I was with her. Evening falls, and I light that fire, the crackle filling the room as I sink into the couch. The warmth seeps into me, easing the ache in my side, and I close my eyes, letting the quiet settle. This place used to echo with her voice, her plans, her rules, but now it's mine to shape. I think about the cabin upstate, the one she tried to hide, and wonder if I'll keep it or sell it. Maybe I'll fix it up too, make it another piece of this new life. The phone stays silent, no text from Grace, no pleas from Carter. The settlement's holding, and she's out of moves. I'm not just surviving her betrayal, I'm building past it. The fire dies down, and I head upstairs, the stairs creaking under my feet. The bedroom's next, her side of the closet's still full, clothes she hasn't come for yet. But I'll box them soon, clear that out too. I lie in bed, the blue glow from the living room seeping up through the hall, and feel a peace I haven't known in months. This house isn't a monument to a marriage that failed, it's a foundation for what's mine now. Sleep comes easy, the kind that doesn't carry her ghost, and when I wake, I'll keep going, tearing down, building up, making it all my own. 6 months have passed since the settlement, and I'm standing in the kitchen of my rebuilt home, the morning sun spilling across the wooden counters I installed myself. The house hums with a quiet I've grown to love, no trace of Grace's sharp edges or cold decor, just warm wood and the life I've carved out. My side's healed, the scar of faint line I barely notice anymore, and I'm stronger now, not just physically, but in a way I didn't know I could be. I'm sipping coffee, flipping through emails on my laptop, when one catches my eye, Grace's name in the subject line. My pulse doesn't jump like it used to. I open it, curious but steady. "Tom, I need a favor. Please read this." I lean back, the mug warm in my hands, and let her words unfold. She's in trouble, her firm's under investigation, some financial mess tied to those hidden accounts we sniffed out months ago. She's not asking for money or forgiveness this time. She wants a statement, a few lines vouching for her integrity to help her case. "I know I don't deserve it," she writes, "but I'm asking anyway. Things are falling apart here." I set the mug down, staring at the screen. There's no apology, no real regret, just a plea from a woman who's finally feeling the weight of her choices. I don't reply, not yet. I close the laptop and head outside, needing air to think this through. The backyard's next on my list, new grass, maybe a deck, and I pace the patchy lawn, letting the request settle. Grace's world crumbling isn't a surprise. Julian's kept me in the loop. Whispers from legal circles about her firm's shady deals, the investigation picking up steam. She's not named yet, but she's close to the fire, and this email's her grasping at straws. I could write the statement, give her a lifeline, not out of kindness, but to close the book for good. But as I kick at a clump of dirt, I realize I don't owe her that. She served me papers when I was down, hid money, built a life behind my back. I've won already, not because she's falling, but because I've risen. I head back inside, leaving the email unanswered. Silence is still my weapon, and I'm keeping it sharp. The day moves on, and I drive into town for a speaking gig, something new, something mine. My business, a small consulting firm I'd let drift under Grace's shadow, has taken off since the divorce. I've been talking at conferences, sharing lessons from the chaos, resilience, strategy, starting over. Today's a local event, a room of entrepreneurs and curious faces, and I stand at the podium, my notes simple but clear. Life can hit you hard. I start, my voice steady, but it's what you build from the pieces that matters. I talk about the surgery, the betrayal, the fight, not Grace's name, just the story, and the room listens, nods, claps when I'm done. A guy in the back asks how I kept going, and I smile, honest. I stopped waiting for someone else to fix it, I say. I fixed it myself. Driving home, I feel the weight of that truth. The conferences, the business, the house, they're not just wins over Grace, they're wins over the man I used to be. The one who'd shrink to fit her world, who'd take her jabs because I thought that's what love was. I pull into the driveway, the house glowing under dusk, and step inside to a space that's all mine, blue walls, warm light, the smell of wood polish. I've got plans now, not just for the backyard, but for me, travel, maybe, or growing the firm bigger than I ever dreamed with her holding me back. My phone buzzes later, Julian. Checking in. Saw Grace's email, he says when I pick up. You're not writing that statement, are you? I laugh, leaning against the counter. No. She dug her hole. I'm not climbing in with her. He chuckles, satisfied. Good man. Hurt her firms and deep. Might not just be her job on the line. You're clear of it, though. Clean break. We talk a bit more, my next speech, his latest case, then hang up, and I'm alone again, but it's not lonely. It's peaceful, the kind of quiet that comes from knowing you're enough. Night falls, and I light a fire in the living room, the crackle filling the space as I settle on the couch. Grace's email sits unanswered, and I won't send a word. She doesn't get to pull me back into her mess, not after I've fought my way out. I think about where I was a year ago, cut open, betrayed, staring at divorce papers in a hospital bed, and where I am now. The business is thriving. I'm speaking to rooms full of people, and this house is a home, not a battlefield. I've won, not with vengeance, but with something better: clarity, purpose, a life I build on my terms. The fire dies down, and I head upstairs, the stairs creaking under my weight. The bedroom's next to finish, her clothes are boxed now, ready for donation, and I lie in bed, the silence wrapping around me. Grace's shadow's gone, not just from this place, but from me. Her email's a last echo, a plea I don't need to answer. My story didn't end with her betrayal, it started there, and I've written every page since. Sleep comes easy, deep and untroubled, and when I wake, it's to a life I've claimed, honorable and mine.